Good morning. You listen to FloorDaily.net, and I'm Kemp Harr. This morning, my guest is Chuck Bode. He's the chairman of the board of Starnet, and he's also co-owner of CB Flooring, along with his wife, Carol, in Columbia, Maryland. Chuck, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Kemp. Never been better.
That's good to talk to you. The last time we talked was the last day of the Starnet annual meeting in May. So it's been a whole quarter ago, and there's a lot of good news to talk about. I did want to add one little thing. Looked at your website, love your website. You got a little green leaf on it, and I love the leadership. The top four pictures in the leadership are you and your wife and your two children who are running the day-to-day, Matt and Emily. They're actually two Future Focus Emerging Professionals Award winners. So fortunately for you, you had family succession plans, and it looks like they're stepping right in the role. Also wanted to point out, we just finished our 30th anniversary, and we did a list of the top 10 commercial contractors, and you're number 6 on the list, so congratulations on that.
Thank you. That's exciting. I look forward to seeing that issue. And yes, we've been very lucky with our succession planning. Kemp, two good kids in the business. It's an issue that concerns quite a number of our members and how that's going to occur. And obviously with continuing consolidation and things of that nature, it feels good to have an independently run business that's able to go on to the next generation. So Carol and I are both very lucky, and so far so good.
So let's talk about some of these numbers. You've been rolling them up. I think you've got a board meeting you were getting ready for. Enlighten us with how the commercial business is right now.
Commercial business is strong. Our membership is having a banner year. The way you can tell that is our 2022 purchases are up over 24% year over year, as opposed to 2021 year to date. Obviously, the cooperative has gotten bigger, but overall, even when you look at same store type sales, it's been a heck of a year so far year to date, and I don't see any end to it anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a factor is the addition of the Spectra piece of Diversify. I mentioned a minute ago the top 10 commercial contractors. Obviously, number 1 is Diversify at $1 billion. And then right after that is Bonnets. And I mean, so of the 10 companies on the list, 8 or 9 are Starnet members. So up 24%. But most people know the commercial business is somewhat of a lagging business. And, we're hearing maybe a little rough patch on the residential side, but the wind is just starting to fill the sails on the commercial side, wouldn't you say?
Well, all this talk about an impending recession and the stock market pullback and everything else, you start to get concerned. But the truth of the matter is, on the ground level, I don't think a commercial flooring contractor is seeing that recession as a factor anytime soon. I mean, we can see a runway at least a year out at this point based on written sales and backlog. It doesn't seem to pose a threat to our membership on any immediate horizon. Could happen later on in life, but I think we're going to be set for a long while with the way things have been going.
I don't know how granular you get on this analysis, but tell us as far as surface type and then vertical sector types, where are the performance areas?
So, all 3 categories are strong and up: carpet, hard surface, and accessories. And in accessories, we consider floor prep materials and things of that nature, and everything associated with doing a job. Each segment is up strong year to date. Now, as far as the market segments are concerned, corporate and tenant fit out, they're still lagging. The country continues to grapple with people going back to the office. What's going to happen with the cities? What's going to happen with the office space? It just seems to be never ending. But that's probably the biggest lagging segment in the commercial flooring contractors world. Education and healthcare doing well, have a lot of pent up demand. And as the population ages, I think healthcare will be even stronger. Multifamily seems to be blowing through the roof as home ownership becomes less affordable every day. So I don't see any end in sight as far as people building large jobs for people to rent. So that looks like a very good business for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I talked to Dave Trepke out on the West Coast, and he was talking about how he's doing a whole lot more business in multifamily. So I guess that's across the board with a lot of the Starnet members, isn't it?
It's interesting. The residential multifamily apartment work used to be considered not necessarily commercially oriented, but I certainly see our members getting more and more into that by the day. It's quite interesting. And I did listen to Dave's interview and just had a smile on my face when he's jumping into the multifamily business. So good for them.
Right. I know we just all probably read on the Wall Street Journal yesterday, Tim Cook, at Apple's trying to fill up his flying saucer again. and he's trying to get his employees to come back to at least 3 days, and they're forming a union and say, hell no. So
it's amazing that he has to fight that concept. You know, I'm old school, unfortunately. I'm a big believer in coming back to the office at some point and the collegiality of that and the mentorships related to that. And I guess I'm just old school, but I can't believe he's having trouble getting his people to come back in the office, especially as design oriented as they are. It's just amazing to me.
Tell us about installation and warehouse. Are those still challenges that you're facing?
Well, I hear it every day. The warehouse inventories are bulging at the seams everywhere. The backlogs that we're all building are extreme because written sales are very strong. The problem is that it seems like virtually every project of any major size is being delayed. So as a result, the material doesn't go out the door when it's supposed to, and you keep loading up the warehouse space. And to tell you the truth, it's a real problem for quite a few of our members. I don't know. And when you pair that with the price increases, the supply chain problems, and the concerns about getting material on time where people will want to bring things in early, either to avoid a price increase or to just make sure they have it by the time the project goes, it's ending up with a little bit of a problem. What's happening is the installed revenue is lagging behind our ability to sell bigger jobs, which the backlogs are building, but so is your warehouse. So it's not necessarily a good situation. At some point, there's going to be a tsunami of installed work that's going to need to be done by a whole bunch of Starnet guys and ladies. It's going to be an issue, to make sure that all gets covered in the field from a labor standpoint.
Who owns that inventory that's sitting in your warehouse? Have you become First National CB Flooring?
Hopefully everybody understands that you can typically get a general contractor to pay for that inventory, thank God. Sometimes they'll take a retainer on it, but as long as you store it and it's insured and they know where it is, you can send them a bill and they'll send you a check eventually to cover the cost of that inventory. So no, we don't own it in most cases.
Yeah. Let's go back to CB Flooring. Back at the meeting in May, you won your first gold award at the Starnet Design Awards for an unbelievable looking office building that I guess is collecting dust now, huh?
It's unbelievable. The loss of Armstrong in our industry, the loss of that iconic brand that many of us grew up with over the years is a very sad situation. Obviously, AHF is trying to pick up the pieces as best they can and move forward, but we won an award for a building that's no longer in use. And it's sort of sad. We did a beautiful job. The people from Armstrong did a great job with us, but life moves on. They're no longer in business. Such is life. It's a sad story. I don't know what exactly the problem was there, but I can tell you there are a lot of members that have a long history of doing business with Armstrong over many years. So such is life.
That is a shame. It's a beautiful product. Okay, Chuck, thanks so much for spending time with us and telling us what's been going on in the commercial market. Again, been talking to Chuck Bode, the chairman of the board of Starnet and the co-owner of CB Flooring, and you've been listening to Kemp Harr and FloorDaily.net.